Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another exciting race in our continuing coverage of the Crossworld Keysanity tournament. Joining me today will be Dazed Cloud and Professor Renderer. We have PTrain versus GFE, and without further ado, I'm going to hand it off to our commentators. Have a good day.
All right, so good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to this 2020 Cross Keys tournament here on ZeldaSpeedRuns 2. We have ourselves a losers brackets round number 4 match. We have the number 17 seed PTrain going up against GFE of the number 31 seed, and I'm Professor Renderer. Joining in the booth is Dazed Cloud. How you doing?
Hey, doing good here. Kind of looking forward to seeing these two league teammates go at each other here. It's always fun when you get to race one of your friends. So these guys are going to probably give us a good show here for sure. And looks like we're going to be both starting in Sank with 10 arrows.
This is one of the drop downs that you would want to check here, and it leads over towards the ever so nice the magic bats check, or the magic bat drop down here, and the Smiths is the 20 rupee thief room of the cave there or whatever.
Yeah, both of these guys taking a little bit of time here to go ahead and make sure they farm up the money that they need for at least buying bombs, I assume. I don't think they're going to go for the full 100 to get the bottle vendor here. And yeah, PTrain's already headed out there because one of the early things you got to find in a Cross Keys match here is you've got to make sure that you get yourself bombs as quickly as possible.
PTrain happens to find the Hyrule Castle near actually the right side, and while GFE finds out that there is Spiral Cave, one of the many connectors in this.
An early Spiral Cave and an early boots in the back of the tavern there. That's a great early find there for this. It's going to open up a couple of checks as Sick Kid just seems to be in his vanilla location today. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's unusual. And yeah, those boots are very nice, especially when you find it in the back of the tavern, the only spot in Cross Keys where it is vanilla, no matter what.
All right, and we've got the dam sitting there also in Kakariko. Now, these early checks in Kakariko are just going to be a lot of checking things as quickly as you possibly can here, as didn't look like you got a good item out of that, but this is going to open the ability to get into Swamp Palace here. One of the nice things about Cross Keys is the moment that you pull this dam, Swamp Palace is open to you from that point on, assuming you have flippers, of course.
Yeah, because given the way that entrance works, it would be kind of cruel to just keep pulling that switch over and over and over again, and thankfully it doesn't let you do that.
Looks like we're going to be trying to farm up some bombs here from the 50-50 drop there. It looks like GFE was able to get one. PTrain got one on his second attempt through here to check this bombable hut, which just turns out to be the arrow shooting game here. So we're gonna earn some money over on GFE's side. Looks like PTrain's doing the same thing. Well, this is going to be kind of good for both of them because it means they were not going to be isolating that bottle vendor here at any point there. You never want to isolate him and then realize much, much later in the seed that turns out, oh yeah, he had my moon pearl this entire time. Whoops.
Looks like GFE went for is going for seconds here. Let's get a bit more money.
3. Yeah. Now you can do 3 rounds on this arrow shooting game without having to move or anything there. So as GFE's just showing it, yeah, he's earned as much money as he possibly can as PTrain's moved up north there, found just a regular old fairy fountain there that's not particularly interesting.
Normally, when you see that arrow game, you generally go for 2 rounds, as from the 3rd round onwards, it does get desynced.
Well, the 3rd round is you can do 3 rounds without it being desynced, but after that,
really?
that's when things get a little iffy there. You got to be careful though; it gets tighter on the 3rd round. The timing gets a lot tighter, but you can still do it.
I was told by most people to say it's 2 rounds. I didn't know you can actually get 3 there. My apologies there.
Yeah. No worries. As looks like we are finding a hookshot cave, and oh boy, everybody's favorite thing, an early Hera without a decent way to hit the switches. Now, since PTrain only has 3 bombs here, he's not going to take the time to go ahead and do that, as the bonkable chest there in Hookshot Cave turns out to just have a key to Castle Tower. Now, I'm kind of curious, because PTrain is a known hoverer, if he's going to take a second and go ahead and go for the rest of these chests, and it looks like he might be doing that.
Yeah, this isn't really too surprising from PTrain. He's known to be a pretty good hoverer, and he will go out of his way to get these checks with hovering and paying out big with the can of Samaria.
Ooh, yeah, that's a big early find right there. That's going to give him quite a few additional checks once we find a Turtle Rock entrance there. It gives him a lot of other things that he could possibly do. Looks like we got a Skull Woods key out of Tower of Hera there for using all those bombs on GFE's side. Now we're going to go ahead and check this connector here through Hookshot Cave, and that takes you onto the Turtle Rock ledge right there. So that's going to open up a whole bunch extra there. PTrain just decides to save and quit. Now, over on GFE's side there, just a second ago, he used a little bit of game knowledge to remember that if you bonk into those rocks outside of the Lost Woods there, you get a guaranteed bomb. So he's going to do that one more time here.
PTrain gonna check the bonk rocks from a bit north of Link's house. There's a dark room.
Now, while I was yapping there a second ago, it looked like PTrain had picked up the big key to Turtle Rock. So combine that with that red cane, he's going to be a happy guy for a second here. As we found the well over on GFE's side. So here's going to be 5 checks real fast. Starting off with the flippers. That's a good find early.
Early flippers is always nice to see in any seed. It's not just counting cross keys. It's always nice to see. You can get some flipper checks, and you also got a few entrances. I got about a couple entrances in Logic now.
Yeah, definitely, and that's going to be also a pod key. And it looks like over there at the ice in the Witch's Hut, there is where we're going to be finding Ice Palace today. As GFE spies a map laying at the mushroom spot, and that's going to give us a map to Skull Woods there. For dark rooms, now I got to ask a question to chat. You're going to have to clarify there, as Ganon turns out to be the fairy drop. Are you talking like dark rooms in entrance, or like dark rooms entrances, or dark rooms in dungeons? Because I want to say just in the entrances, we're going to talk something like, I want to say 5. Because Old Man both sides, then you've got the Dark Descent both sides, and the back of the Old Man's thing there. But actually, if you add dungeons to that, then more.
And while we were talking about the entrances, PTrain had decided to go for a Houlihan to get 225 rupees while he was over there and checking out where that Ganon spot was.
There's good news there behind the no, over on GFC's side, there is going to be a key sitting there behind the 2 Castle Tower keys. There's a small key sitting there, so we've already got a little bit of intrigue. And Sasharella says that our green pendant today is going to be Desert Palace.
and we get a hook shot from out of Sashraw's hut along with 320 rupees.
All right, well, that's good news for GFE because that means that that early advantage that PTrain got off the early hover there is going to be completely gone. So
PTrain covered that map that he saw, and that takes us to Swamp House. We'll get information as to whether or not it's Crystal, Pendant, or 5/6s, or whoever. But once we get some way to not be a bunny in the Dark World, that'd be Moon Pearl.
So, if I'm right, I think we're guaranteed having the Uncle drop now behind Ganon. Behind GT, I mean. Sorry. Because I think we've seen all the other, basically, 5/6 drops there. As we find our big bomb shop, find out Ice Palace and Palace of Darkness there on PTrain's side are our 5/6 crystals, as he does it twice there to make sure that he read it right the first time.
GFA picking up the Turtle Rock big key from out of Link's house.
And on GFE's side, he's going to be pretty happy here in just a second once he continues the rest of the way after he picks up this map on drop down here. And when he goes ahead and finds that hook shot, that'll give him a little bit of a chance there, as PTrain finds just an absolutely useless cave over there in the Eastern Palace area there, the fairy fountain at least.
Ooh, Sashraw's hut is the Ice Rod Cave, which happens to be Blue Mail. Oddly appropriate.
And you know, that couldn't have been better timed for PTrain there, as he's sitting there with one heart with a bunch of enemies around here that do exactly 1 heart of damage. The timing on that was pretty good for him.
Now I'm going to check out the... Oops, sorry.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so PTrain is going to go and look at the Eastern Palace entrance. That Spin Speak moving quick to for himself, and there is the blacksmiths.
Yeah, that is not the best location for the blacksmiths there. That's going to be a long walk there to go turn them in there. You typically want the blacksmiths to be sitting there in Kakariko Village, if at all possible here. Alright, so GFE is about to go ahead and pick up his Cane of Samaria there, so we're going to be on pretty equal footing on both of these guys' side, as PTrain goes ahead and grabs out Meyer's Shed there for his last check here. It's going to give himself a bottle, so he'll be able to check Sick Kid once he goes back to Kakariko, and just 20 rupees, so not too bad.
And it's nice to see that the Sick Kid is vanilla, so be able to make this check quicker if he decides to head down that route. Looks like PTrain's going to make that play right now.
All right, PTrain's got a few more checks here in the northern part of Hyrule, at least south of Death Mountain. But it looks like instead we're going to be going down towards the what is usually the library, and we're going to get these 3 checks just to see what we've got so far. Waterfall Cave. And a couple of big 20s. Gonna see what the fairy's given us, and an early fairy in a bottle. Usually you're happy to see that, but actually, until you find the mirror, that actually becomes kind of more of an issue than anything.
And while we were didn't see from PTrain's side that the sick kid had a Ice Palace small key.
And GFE had just popped right through the Spiral Cave there, got rewarded with a single rupee, and then got spit out right in the laser bridge entrance to T Rock there, which until you got the mirror is not a place you really want to end up. Now GFE is going to have some fun with some dark connectors here as he finds the back of the old man's connector here, so that's not... we already know that the other side is just sitting there in Kakariko, so our connectors today are pretty much going to be not particularly useful. Old man is just not going to give you anything outside of the item today.
And PTrain went to get the Skullwood's small key from the hero play that GFE had did previously.
Ooh, getting rewarded there with an early bomb, and we're going to be taking a quick look at that Lake Hylia Island, just seeing a compass. So, you know, it's kind of interesting now that I think about it. Both of these runners have a huge amount of money. They still only have one bomb until GFE decides, you know what, I'm actually going to go buy the pack of 20 bombs there for 100 rupees there, just because I've got all this extra cash. I might as well use it, right?
Before PTrain picked up the rupees there, he had a pretty nice, interesting rupee count. But now GFE is going to use those flippers. Check out the man underneath the bridge, which is 3 bombs.
Yeah, I'd be really glad that he spent all that money on the bombs there. As PTrain gets his flippers and his key to Ice Palace real fast. Alright. So it looks like GFE is going to swim down here to the Ice Rod Cave location. Now, unfortunately, usually in entrance, you want to try to come down here, if possible, with a glove, because there's going to be one entrance down here that GFE is unfortunately just going to kind of orphan, because there's just no way to pick up that rock until you have gloves. So hopefully he'll see something here pretty quickly as he finds probably our first shop of the day. Ooh, and an interesting connector to somewhere. It's Dark Death Mountain, bottom of Dark Death Mountain, and yeah, GFE is going to go ahead and bunny revive here because he'll be able to get a handful of items.
I like this from GFE, just knowing that doesn't have a fairy in a bottle. You can just be a bit quicker. Well, could be quicker, I think, if you had a fairy, but gonna go and get it anyway. Just dive this Turtle Rock play.
Yeah, it's kind of a second ago there. PTrain found the back of Skull Woods there. Went ahead and picked up, I think it was just a compass, but he had to drop his fairy anyway. And ooh, the early hammer there over on GFE's side. Now that's a big early find because, let's see here, how did you get there? You had to go through the cave down in the bottom of what am I trying to say? Around Ice Rod Cave to get down there, as GFE tried to bomb an already open door. And we're now in the pod area.
PTrain's like seeing the bottom of the drop down, that the mini Moldorms that, as on Death Mountain, where you get spit out if you would happen to fall during that bomb jump on Spec Rock.
All right, GFE getting at least some good information here now that he knows that the back of Paradox Cave, or the bottom of Paradox Cave, is sitting there at the basically flute location number 5 in the Dark World. He's going to wander over and check out the pyramid, it does look like here, because you can at least pick up one item just laying there. And it's always possible and always kind of mean when that sucker turns out to be the Moon Pearl or something. First, we got a pit stop here in Desert Palace, it looks like.
Which GFE will do some bunny revival for.
Yep. So that'll be 2 items available to him here, and also looks like 2 more entrances if he so wishes. Kind of smart on GFE's side. It's taking that a little bit of extra time there as he picks up a Quake medallion to go ahead and pick up a couple of these magic pots here, because you never really know what your first, what weapons you're going to get. And if we find a big key sitting here on the torch, and yeah, GFE, you had boots.
It looks like he may have not marked it on his tracker.
What?
I don't know. It's kind of interesting to me. Like, I don't know. I mean, you could have got the big key there. There's a free big key that you could possibly grab it, and perhaps and maybe I do believe I want to entirely imagine that he may have forgot to mark the boots on his tracker, and it's like, oh, oops.
I'm so confused right now. I'm just kind of trying to go, thinking that maybe he's gonna walk back here in a second. No, okay, he's not walking back. Well, he's gonna feel kind of silly in a minute once he remembers that he has boots, probably. See, look, you're dashing.
Yeah, oops. But speaking of Desert Palace, PTrain finds the back of Desert Palace and the Fairy Refill Room, Fairy Refill Cave, and there's Ganon's Tower already.
Ooh, that early hammer is gonna be a bit of a big thing here for our friend GFE. He's gonna have a little bit of an advantage here over PTrain, just being able to come straight in, and then he'll be clearing. Well, without a small key, there's only so much he can do, but depending on how he conserves his key, he can get almost everything outside of the Firebar room. The hammer was in Crystal Roller room there. GFE went through a connector and then had a little fun bunny revive section where he was able to go ahead and get everything out of, get that one item in the back of T-Rock there. Yeah, that's a good point there. PTrain just full on decided not to check tile room either. So that was kind of an interesting thing. But looks like GFE went ahead and pulled a glove out of the first chest there in Hyrule Castle.
And the almighty Zora just giving out 50 rupees, just 10% of just return on investment there, but does see that there was a blue potion on the Zora Legend. Gonna pick that up. There's free shot. Oh, there's a fire rod in the front of Escape.
All right, so yeah, things are really coming up GFE's way here right now, because that just basically unlocked the entire bottom of Turtle Rock. Well, still short some small keys, but other than that, yeah, everything's kind of working out pretty well for him.
GFE looking to set up a Death Warp after this play is over. And it's
All right.
300 rupees. And I can imagine what GFE wants to do, especially with that fire rod in hand. And that is to go to Dark Cross.
Yeah, I believe that with the recent update to the randomizer logic, now this is actually in logic in entrance here, because I want to say as of like less than a month ago, this didn't count as a checkable entrance here. As it looks like PTrain just ran past one of the other caves, man. Maybe he's going to be coming there. I thought they updated it to that the fire rod checks were now in logic, though. Not yet? Okay. All right. Thank you to chat there for correcting me there, because yeah, it's still trying to judge exactly where everything is, as Dark Cross is going to give GFE there a small key to pod.
Yeah, in version 31.0.6, there was entrance randomizer changes, but there is actually one for Keysanity in terms of entrance, with castle tower chests now requiring a weapon.
Okay. Oh, no, that's a kind of a nice little connector over there on GFE's side, as that's the middle of Hyrule Castle there, so we're not going to be needing a Master Sword or a cape to go check that, since we already know what it is. Alright, the rest of the top of the tower is completely useless, though.
PTrain going to grab the glove and eventually the fire rod out of the front of escape.
So, outside of everything right now, that hammer is the one thing that's really looming large for GFE, and it could be a bit of a time before PTrain finds it here, because you're gonna have to go through the right door there next to Ice Rod Cave, go through that connector and get back, and then go ahead and follow the Fairy Revive in Turtle Rock. Sorry, it's a little bit early in the morning. Words are hard.
I can understand that.
Okay, quick island check for GFE Heat, and that is where our Desert Palace back is today. So let's see here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 dungeons that we found so far.
And PTrain going to take that same Death Warp that GFE has done, while GFE is heading into Ganon's Tower, and will get a lot more, a few things more than what PTrain had done, especially with the hammer being in hand. GFE gonna take a stop in the tile room. Just don't have a key, so we can't really get to the right side of GT with the compass room.
Yeah, this is an interesting question here. Is where do you want to spend that one key that you've got in that you're going to have available in GT right now? Oh, as you find mitts in tile room, and yep, GFE, you don't have that key there. And yeah, Hitsuyan is bringing up a pretty good point right there. So there is you want to get the key out of the right side, because if you get the key off the right side, you do automatically get another key when you follow, when you continue on just a little bit there. So you'll get a key back. Now GFE is looking like he is probably just gonna spend this key here, so not gonna be able to get to the right side immediately. Yeah, this is kind of the crazy thing about cross keys is that like just, oh, and there's a small key in the in the Stalfos room, so just burn everything that I just said. Oh, and it's gonna burn the key on the map room here, so gets 20 rupees out of it. Probably, unless he finds another key in here, that's going to mean he's not going to be able to go right side immediately. Now,
here's an interesting one. PTrain finding Paradox Cave.
Now this is a bit of a trick here. PTrain finds Paradox Cave, but it's right next to the connector that would take him to his hammer. So, which one is he going to take?
Before I mention that though, GFE picked up the mirror in the Fire Snake room.
Man, like this is like I said, cross keys can be so mean sometimes, just in the way it is. As we get a big key to Misery Mire over here on GFE's side. Okay, there's a big key to Tower of Hera on PTrain's side. And guys, can you stop picking up everything at once?
PTrain gonna bomb jump over and just gonna leave Paradox Cave as is. Don't want to bother checking out any other connectors, or maybe wants to go and check some connectors.
Yeah, GFE is going to have a real fun fight here in just a second.
Yeah, this is going to be the Ice Armos fight without a bow, without a sword or anything. It's just going to be a hammer, or Samaria in this case. It's going to go for Samaria Ice Armos.
Samaria works pretty decently. Not the best, but yeah, like it's but he, at some point, he is going to be down to doing this with the hammer, which is just not fun.
Yeah, when you factor in the ice floor, that fight in particular is going to be quite a fun one, let's just say.
Fun. GFE's doing the best he can with this fight here. He's trying to get as many hits as he can with the block before it goes away, and well, now he's got to use hammer and bombs. Do bombs work on these guys? They do. I know that much, but
yes.
Well, we're gonna be here for a while now. I think GFE would do a little bit better if he was up in the top right about now.
Each Armos Knight needs 12 hits from those sources: bombs, Samaria block, and a hammer. Double check the damage table.
I just hit it until it's dead. That's my thing here. It looks like GFE is finally getting a little bit of annoyed about waiting, and he's just deciding to wait in and just start swinging the hammer wildly.
There's 2 of the Armos Knights down.
Yeah, I really feel like GFE needs to get himself up into the top right corner there where the hammer hitbox will actually, you know, do a little bit more up there. Okay, 2 of them are down. And we're down to our last one here. Oof. Careful there, GFE. You gotta get... Oh, no.
Oh, that's... You hate to see it.
Yeah, you're not gonna feel good about that one. Because that you just lost all of that time that you took here. And what's more is looks like PTrain is probably about to get his hammer as well, as he's gonna walk into this next exit here, find the back of a T-Rock, and yep, he's gonna do a quick bunny revive himself here, and he's gonna have a hammer in just a sec.
Now, PTrain, I believe... Okay, yeah, like you did mention previously, that he did have to leave out the ferry here.
Yeah, he dumped it a little bit earlier there, and
So,
I mean, so altogether, I mean, okay, so yeah, you died to Ice Armos. You're going to have to try to put that out of your mind. But on GFE's side, though, the thing that he's got going for him is that he does have a little bit of a head start on being able to pick up everything else. Because there was quite a bit in that GT that he was able to get.
So GFE is going to get the 10% return on invest from Zora. And then subsequently get the bottle.
And I don't believe I saw GFE do this earlier. So PTrain's going to go ahead and he's going to check the lava chest. Yeah, he's going to be checking the lava chest, and he's going to go on to the chain chomps, which is completely in logic. So, I mean, there's a chance we could be finding something in the chomps here. Now, the lava chest is locked behind 4 keys, and it's just 20 rupees anyway, so it's kind of pointless. But the chain chomps is 100, well, isn't in logic yet because of we're missing a moon pearl yet, so I'm not going to find anything, you know, logically great yet, but we could still find something good.
GFE going to pick up the extensions from the ferry extension and hang out in the dam, and PTrain going to grab the ether medallion.
I'm probably not useful, but it's kind of hard to say, honestly, at this point. But we'll find out here pretty soon. I mean, at some point, we'll have to check what the Turtle Rock medallion entry is and what the Meyer medallion is, possibly. It looks like PTrain is going to take the long walk back down to Paradox Cave here and maybe just muscle through these two. Oh, right, that's the bottom of Paradox Cave, so that's not going to help him at all there.
GFE finding the bumper cave, which is another connector.
And remembering that, yeah, if at times there you do have to use the hook shot to go through, as PTrain's playing Dodge the Murder-Dactyl real fast.
PTrain gonna take that bunny revival and continue the. Looks like maybe gonna take this Desert Palace area.
Yeah, we'll actually be able to see what's on this torch over here. The interesting thing. Or did we already get that? I guess we already got that at some point. Is that the pod big key? Must have been.
Yeah, Kingsy Girl in the chat saying that it was the pod big key. And there is the village of Outcasts out of the left side exit of Desert Palace.
I mean, I'm a little surprised that PTrain didn't pick up that hammer, pick up the and everything, and just decide, you know, I'm gonna go directly to Ganon's Tower right now. I'm a little surprised that he's putting that off. Granted, nothing in GT outside of Tile Room is in logic right now.
PTrain also found King's Tomb out of the C-shaped house. GFE actually found Misery Mire.
Well, yeah, and with that fire rod here, he's going to be able to check pretty much everything, and he's got the big key to Mire from GT, so he's got the option to go ahead and complete this. It would be a lot of fun. a hammer vitreous fight, basically. You know, everybody's favorite idea of a good time right there. But it is possible to complete this entire dungeon if he so chooses. And yep, sure enough, there goes PTrain into GT right now. Yeah, I mean, you can bomb the first part of Vitreous. Yeah, 100% you can do that as GFE picks up a shovel there, and PTrain is picking up his small key to Misery Mire there as well. You can bomb the first part, but I mean, with 15 bombs, you should be able to kill most of them. But even then, the GFE is somehow still on green mail right now, I believe. It's kind of hard to tell with the Nest Sprite. I don't know if he's picked up blue mail or not. And Vidi plus a hammer there. Vidi likes to jump over your hammer swings. And okay, nope, now he's on blue mail.
Yeah, because that is actually Lucas from Mother 3. That the palette, at least that from I can tell. Nice clip.
Yeah, GFE showing off a little bit there.
I've seen that clip in GIFs, but I've never seen it pulling off like in person. That's really cool.
It's actually surprisingly easy to do too. Is kind of the funny thing. It's related to the icebreaker skip there. It's a door extension, basically glitch. As PTrain picks up his mirror, you'd be surprised how borderline simple that one is to do. And you're gonna have to go to the next room there, pick up the full magic there, GFE, and yep, sure enough, there he's going.
I might start I might end up learning that just to incorporate that into my runs. I recently started picking up Pog Clip as a trick that I've been using in my runs.
It's fairly similar, so yeah, you could do it pretty easily there. It's gonna map to Thieves Town there, and both of these chests here on for GFE, the Firelock chest in Misery Mire, are locked behind 3 Misery Mire small keys. So not in logic, but you're also not going to leave them if you're here and you have the chance to complete them. You just don't want to do something like that. Now it's up for PTrain's side here. He's going to have a little bit of an easier time with the ice armos here, because he's going to have a full magic bar plus a refill plus blue mail, so theoretically things should work a little bit better here. Now he's just going to go ahead and spam his spam these Samaria here first.
Very efficient use of the Samaria here, just to knock down a couple of these Armos Knights. Knock down those hit count significantly. Like I had mentioned previously, the Bomb, Samaria, and Hammer all require 12 hits to at least knock down the Armos Knights. Like for each Armos Knight, there is 12 hits.
PTrain definitely taking advantage of that blue mail and just kind of going full kamikaze strats here.
May want to start using that potion soon.
He will probably right about now.
Oh,
didn't get first.
Yeah, didn't get it in time. Unfortunate for PTrain.
Yeah, he's not going to be happy about that.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate death. Just didn't have time to knock in that blue potion all sipped down, and GFE gonna start making the ice palace dive.
Yeah, someone powered up the ice Armos today because they are just crushing both runners. It was the funny thing about racing here is that you'll have something like that where you just kind of go, oh my god, I can't believe I died to ice Armos. Oh, I feel so bad. And you never can, you have to kind of put it out of your mind because, you know, your opponent might do the exact same thing as we just saw. So that's the first question on the interview segment of tonight there. So you guys, how about those ice Armos?
So PTrain is going to take that key that he picked up and go over towards the map room. Or the compass room, sorry.
If he so desires, he can go back for a rematch there with the ice Armos.
Yeah, he does still have that blue potion in reserve. Nice Samaria kick strats.
Gotta be careful there. Those mummies are just absolutely crushing them a little bit there. As we get the big key to Swamp Palace there and a cape. So, nothing really useful.
And Patron's elected to just leave out GT for now.
I don't know if I'd do that. That's a hard one right there to say, because I mean that's 3 items that it's going to take you quite a while to get back to.
And in the back of Escape, there's that Desert Palace small key, which GFE had, I believe, picked up previously.
Right. And GFE over here, he's working his way through Ice Palace, and nothing of note yet. That half magic is going to make, you know, Cold Stare quite a bit easier there.
And if he chooses to, if he decides to do it and wants to, there is that Ice Armos fight if GFE chooses to refight it or go back to GT and refight it, but I don't think GFE would want to do it just yet.
Yeah, I think, I mean, to be honest, what probably both of these runners are thinking is, you know what, I'm going to go back there once I get the GT Big Key, or if I get the GT Big Key, and I'm not going back there before that, because if you are isolating the GT Big chest there, I mean, that one is even more annoying than, say, other things here. So we're going to have dueling boss fights, it looks like, on both runners' side here, as P-Train picked up the powder in the Hera Big Chest.
GFE, gonna drink down that blue potion that you did pick up previously as P-Train starts the Moldorn fight. GFE closing out to the Cold Stare fight, and P-Train also closing out the Moldorn fight, with GFE being the first player with a crystal. First blood, if you will.
Yeah, by about 2 seconds there. As both runners got their crystals and both got rewarded with bombs.
Perfect.
Alright, looks like we're probably going to be seeing the Hera basement here, and as I can already hear my teammate yelling at me, this is why you go to the Hera basement first here, to save one screen transition.
From the leak?
Yeah. No, it's just this is a discussion that me and Top Life have had many times about what is the proper way to do Tower of Hera here, and the idea is that you should come down and do, if you're 100% clearing Hera, you should come down and do the tile room first, because you're basically going to save yourself 2 screen transitions, and with as close as some of these matches can be, those 2 screen transitions can be a big deal.
Yeah, I can agree to that. There have been many cases where just a screen transition may have just ended it.
And get himself a blue boomerang.
GFE, picked up the Swamp Big Key along with the cape. And P-Train is looking to follow the Spiral Cave play. And it seems as if GFE wants to head back to Isarmos.
Alright, we're going to get a round 3 over here, and I like P-Train's play particularly because this is going to give him basically full desert access. And it's still not technically in logic, I believe, because that mirror was locked behind the hammer still, and the hammer is locked behind the pearl, so unless there's another way over here, yeah, this isn't going to be... we probably shouldn't be finding the pearl quite yet.
P-Train does find Spike Cave and thought about it for a second and is saying to go for it. It's going to pull that cape here and it's going to check out what is in Spike Cave, which is 20 rupees.
GFE deciding to go with Fire Rod strats now for these guys, and now unfortunately realizing that, oh yeah, I spent that blue potion on Cold Stare. Well, guess it's back to hammer.
And the good thing about the Fire Rods, those Fire Rod shots that GFE put in, is that it actually cuts the number of hits that you need to do in half, which was Fire Rod shots take 6 hits to kill at least 1 Armos Knight.
I just want GFE to stand where he's standing right there. Stop trying to hammer up. He's Alright, we've got First sword. Yeah, yeah, sorry, you were about to say, yeah, first sword there in the Pyramid Fairy there.
Yeah, and that was in the the bottom entrance towards Paradox Cave. So we finally have a reliable weapon. And there is Palace of Darkness.
I thought the red boomerang took 64 hits, but the chat people in chat there are, oh my god, GFE, please.
It does 48. It does 48 hits. They kill at least one Armos Knight on a boomerang.
Okay. All right.
And
all right.
now,
all right.
Here we go.
Oh my god, no, we're not really.
what are you doing, GFE?
I mean, hey, it's effective.
Yeah, I mean it's 48 hits, but this is great.
Okay, so by the way, over on PTrain's side, he's deciding that he's going to make a Mimic completely disappear. So yeah, there goes Mimic Clip, and he can. Oh, almost had it there. So we're gonna do it one more time.
GFE gets it.
Sorry.
And there's just more bombs. And he does get the Mimic Clip, by the way, from PTrain's side.
Oh.
That's... Thank you, GFE. Thank you. And there's a Master Sword as well.
So yeah, PTrain getting the good reward out of this.
I need to regain my composure. Hold on.
Yeah, no. Okay, so we're back to this, and somehow we found Pod over on PTrain's side, and we're gonna make our way to the back, setting up our little Pod clip. He's gonna have to hurry there because yep, that he got his block eaten. So he's gonna try one more time here. As long as you basically set yourself up, you'll dash yourself right through the blocks there. Yeah.
Yep, I've been incorporating that into my runs a lot, and it sets up a key dash as well. So it's always nice to learn that if you are intending to just run the randomizer and not just in a cross key setting, but just in general. If you have a Samari, if you do that, and it's very nice to know that.
Oh, definitely. Now we're getting into the kind of the fun part of the seed where we're gonna have to start asking that great question: where on Earth is the Moon Pearl? Because we have almost everything else. At some point, I think the runners are gonna want to find that.
Yeah, for most of the seed, that how they played it has been doing a bunch of bunny revivals. PTrain with a nice hammer yump.
We're gonna do a little navigation here in the dark maze as we're in the back of desert. Gets a small key to Turtle Rock, and now GFE. Now GFE, the big key on the torch, bud. No, that's okay.
This time he actually has the... Oh, okay.
I was about to say, yeah, I was like, okay, wait, where are you? Okay, you have the small key. This makes sense. Don't forget the torch, please. Don't forget the torch, please.
Are he mirrors?
Go get the torch.
And okay, now he's gonna get it. All right, cool.
All right, we're good now. No, go back. GFE, no. Oh god, I think he's forgotten.
Oh, what are you...
That's... Oh, and there's a big key on Spectacle Rock today. As we see on PTrain's side. We also find the book sitting there in the Spectacle Rock connector. Man, that's going to be rough for GFE, because that's one of those that there's a good chance you don't. If you ran past it twice, there is a pretty good chance that you've just completely forgotten about it.
So this big key leads to Eastern Palace. And, of course, we see that book is being very close by to the Ether Tablet. May as well check it while we're here.
Oh yeah, extremely convenient book here. It's going to give you a small key to Hyrule Castle. So, alright, finally that fire rod is now actually in logic.
And here's the brothers. That's their connector. Which just leads back to the mountain.
Alright, we're going to get PTrain to check the rest of these entrances here. We haven't seen Old Man yet, I don't believe. So he's got to be in one of these places.
We have not.
And looks like that's going to be vanilla.
What are some of these vanilla spots in this seed? Because we had a vanilla sick kid.
I mean, at some point, something's got to, be the same, right? It's fun, I guess. I don't know. It's GFE's going to get himself a fire shield. Oh, that pod big key is just crushing me right now, because looking at that and seeing that pod is our red crystal, it's at some point this is going to turn into a huge issue for GFE. It's not yet, but it will be. But either way, right now, that is crystal number 2 here for GFE, as he gets his 3 bombs and his second crystal. I have to admit, usually when I'm calling one of these cross keys races, I usually keep my map tracker, my cross keys map tracker up and available here, just so I can kind of think of where Moon Pearl and some of these other things can be. But to be honest, right now I'm having a lot of trouble remembering what's actually possible, as we see a small key there on Floating Island.
GFB gonna turn in the Magic Bat. There's a small key to Turtle Rock in the brewery, which is the... Oh, there's that Moon Pearl.
That makes sense. I was kind of thinking that might be it.
Finally, we have a Moon Pearl.
Alright, so now that gives GFE a pretty decent head start as far as being able to check the Dark World here. Now, over on PTrain's side, though, he does have he does have 2 swords as well here. So, it's kind of a blessing and a curse here, because again, man, that it's just sitting there on that torch. That pod big key is just going to sit there, and it's going to be a big deal. All right, but we are going to get a hammer pegs check here first. So with that pearl, that basically thrusts almost everything into logic for GFE there, because now the hammer is completely 100% in logic as well, and everything else. So, I mean, that was the big thing we were missing there for, to kind of make things make sense in a way. It turns out King's Doom's just a piece of heart, so it's not going to be our answer either. Graveyard Ledge just with 10 arrows, so so far our Village of Outcasts not really pan out with anything interesting, as looks like PTrain's not 100% sure what to do next here, as he's had a couple of quick save and quits there. Looks like he's having a bit of indecision about what exactly he should be doing next. Where he wants to be going is he wants to go over to Magic Bat here, but see, this might be that play. Actually, this is in the right direction. And yeah, it does look like one of our trackers there, Jinxie Girl, is 100% right on this. He is heading into Ice Palace, so he's going to clear out this dungeon and kind of do the same thing that GFE did, and just kind of pray that that Ice Palace big chest is not going to have anything.
And this will also give PTrain his first crystal.
That should be his second crystal there, because he got Hera there earlier.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, I completely forgot that there's that PTrain did get the Hera one. My apologies.
Yeah, and with that, since we are kind of just looking for basically what to do next here, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody for joining us tonight here on Zelda Speedruns 2. Thank you for your support there. If you could, go ahead and give these runners a follow here. The GFE and PTrain, both extremely high-level runners. If they're in this tournament, they can play this game just a bit. Also, big shout-outs to our trackers and our restreamers today. Trackers today being Jinxie Girl and a Be Liberal there. And my name is Dazed Cloud, and joined in the booth by Professor Renderer. And thank you for joining me tonight, Prof.
It's nice to join you there. GFA contacted me one day. I was doing a friendly. Said, "Hey, you should totally come me and GFE and PTrain's race." And I said, "Okay, might as well." So here I am.
Hey, vanilla flute.
Continuing the vanilla thing. Again with the vanilla thing. And this time it's actually not an entrance, and this time it's a vanilla item.
Right. And what was kind of funny is right before that, we found Stumpy just handed GFE the Desert Palace big key here. So that vanilla flute came at a pretty good time, because I think GFE was thinking about taking Jeremiah all the way across the map there to get his to turn him in. But now he'll be able to flute over there, save a little bit of time. Oh. Did he remember? We're in Desert Palace. Okay, so you're getting the big chest. Go next door and get the one on the torch. Oh no, oh god, he's got the mirror out. Don't do it, don't.
That is still going to potentially haunt him if he doesn't go back to the desert and and get that big key. And there's a fluid activation from GFE.
It's the pod big key hanging out on that torch. And yeah, that is 100% required today. There's no way that you can complete this game without it at this point. So it's GFE has activated our good friend Mr. Duck, and we are off to go turn in the Smiths and a couple of other things here.
PTrain starting the the coaster fight. It starts with a C, it starts with a C. Or in this case a K, but C and K are pretty much almost identically the same thing, I think.
Pretty much.
Oh, if you turn, yeah. But that's PTrain's second crystal, not the first, but the second crystal.
This is all kind of one of these dangerous moves there on both of these runners' side there. It probably is not going to come back to bite them, that they're leaving the Ice Palace big chest in there. It's probably not. But, I mean, if it does, it's almost a guaranteed last location because it's not a fast one to go in there. All right, red mail on GFE's side, but for PTrain, the moment has arrived that he can finally walk around in the dark world and kill things. Oh, bringing up a good point there, Top Life. There, if GFE had taken about another 3 or 4 steps ahead, he would have lost the Smith and activated Kiki. So GFE very quickly got out of there, and and was able to go turn in the Smiths here. He's going to be rewarded with Cane of Burna. Yeah. That would have been much nicer to have had when he was fighting Ice Armos one of those 2 times.
Yeah, and the Burna does pretty much the same thing, same amount of hits necessary to take down an Armos Knight, along with the Keysanity, which is 12, and that's the class 1 damage set.
And we got a quick map check over on PTrain's side there. He showed us that looked like we had a swamp and Skull Woods as 2 more of our crystals here. So we're getting pretty close to knowing knowing our layouts for the rest of the day here. Alright. And PTrain taking the guaranteed sword there with guaranteed Skull Woods key out of the pinball room in entrance, because you just kind of need one there, or else there's always the chance of just dropping down randomly into one of the pits in Skull Woods and soft locking yourself, which isn't fun for anyone. So they keep the small key there just in case. Now, if GFE wanted, he could steal this key and head to the front of Turtle Rock, but it looks like he's going to check the laser chest there, as he takes a laser to the face real fast.
The back of Skull Woods not really giving out much, and there's a pet check coming out from PTrain. See what that yields for us. Just typical couch cash. Nothing too surprising there.
All right, gonna get that ether tablet there. Not ether medallion. And take a quick death warp to the front of Skull Woods again, and continue on with his searches. All right, PTrain finding Misery Mire here, and with everything, he might also choose to complete this at this point. You are going to have to do a dark room, but PTrain's not going to have any problem with that. And with the sword plus cape and everything like that, this is going to be a pretty easy. He can make that fight exceptionally easy if he decides to.
GFE is making the commitment to pursue the green pendant on the Lamolus.
You know, I kind of like this play, just because it's not a particularly long time commitment here, and it's 2 items. I mean, it makes sense to do this now. Get it out, get it done and taken care of.
It's got one more fire rod shot to deal with, and down good the Lamolus. Getting a piece of heart and that green pendant. So GFE, sorry, is going to look at the green pendant. There is a small key to the castle tower. So there is, I believe, that is both of our castle tower keys. Yep, that both are our castle tower keys. So the Agate Tower is open, and well, of course, we need at least one of the keys to get both the chests there. There's the sync hearts from off of PTrain in the big chest. Ooh, that's a good question. Oh, I probably have to look back at it. I don't remember what was on Lumberjack at the time. GFE going into pod. So, and PTrain is heading for the back of Misery Mire. This dark room is quite an annoying one because you have just this one. You just have a scenario block in that first room, and you gotta look for that switch while avoiding the shooters. Gets to it no problem, though. PTrain shouldn't have any problems with this particular room. Using the Samaria block to figure out where PTrain is. PTrain looking to get some bit more hearts by powdering the anti-fairy. Is gonna probably do so at this next one. Yep, gonna get full hearts for this Vitreous fight. Run with the cape and gonna spam swords because if you keep spamming while you have the cape on, the magic meter will not drain whatsoever. And now for some spin strats, looks like, from the Vidi fight, just the second part. Love this consistent setup here. And down goes Vitreous. Getting a small key to Thieves' Town.
And it looks like our final pendant more interesting.
So with that, we know what our medallions and crystals are, or pendants and crystals are. Pendants and crystals are. Excuse me.
So yeah, it looks like we've got everything that we need right now. So that'll give us this. That tells us that at some point today we're gonna have to find an ice rod. It looks like. And yeah, looks like GFE is not going to be able to pick up the sword that was in Pod either because I guess he does not have a potion or the ability to mimic clip here. To be fair, mimic clipping is ridiculously hard. Or at least ridiculously hard for me, I'll say that, because it's just constant one-frame movements, which either my hands or my controller doesn't like doing.
Yeah, doing a mimic clip requires you to do, like you had mentioned, those one-frame movements just to slowly edge that mimic over into the wall just enough so it can go off the side of the screen.
Yeah, and over on PTrain's side, he just took down Mothula, and that's going to be his... Ooh, that's the small key to Swamp Palace right there on Moth. That's a big, big find. So that's going to open up all of Swamp Palace there to PTrain, and unfortunately, we haven't seen it yet. So that asks a pretty interesting question then. Where exactly is that Swamp Palace right now? Big Bomb is a total chance there. I'm gonna have to probably go with something like Misery Mire, or at least the Misery Mire area, at least. And an hour and 20 some minutes in, GFE is finally rescuing the old man, and he's going to be able to get a map for his troubles there. I believe it was a map at least. As a map of the Ganon's Tower there, so not a whole lot of use for anybody. We're going to be able to pick up a quick potion here, or maybe 2 potions on GFE's side as he released his B. I think he has an empty bottle as well, but either way, just going to grab the one. Alright, so we're going to explore Death Mountain a little bit more over on GFE's side here, as we're going on to going through Hammer Pigs the much faster way on PTrain's side. Since he has swords, he was able to actually do the hammer dash through the pegs there and knock them all down at once. Gets a whole lot of nothing here, and hey, yeah, you're going to want that there, GFE. There's a big key sitting right there on Spectacle Rock, so he's going to go pick this up real fast. And if I remember right, it was the big key to Eastern Palace, so might not be needed today. Okay, now I just saw GFE do something on his on his tracker there. And he marked that he still has 1 item remaining in desert. I'm hoping that he has remembered. Kind of hard to say though. We'll see. We will see. It's a little early to tell. I'll say the game is saved when he actually goes back into Desert Palace and picks it up. Because right now PTrain is pulling a little bit ahead here, just being able to knock out. He's definitely made up all the time that PTrain that GFE had gained earlier by finding the Moon Pearl maybe about 10 minutes before.
And soon, PTrain's going to get the Vanilla Flute, and just also picked up the Desert Palace Big Key.
And he's gonna. It looks like PTrain's headed immediately back to activate his flute here, and I wouldn't be surprised there. Just kind of trying to glance at what PTrain has remaining here. Well, maybe he's going to be turning in the Smith first, but I wouldn't. Ooh, a small key to the castle. But at this point, I don't know what small key we could actually require that would actually be useful for these runners here, so unless it's something crazy like the pod keys are all locked at the top of GT or something like that.
And there is PTrain's flute activation. It's got the all-important duck.
Yeah, GFE gets the knowledge there that he cannot actually get into the Turtle Rock entrance yet. He's going to need bombos for that. As PTrain's about to go turn into Smith's as well and get his Cane of Burn, it looks like. Hotel Mario percent there on GFE completed.
Hotel Mario percent?
That's just like a goofy meme in this game. Like if you find the first one to find that one, the one house there with like 6 beds, it just kind of looks like the guy kind of looks like Mario if you squint.
Oh yeah, that room. Yeah.
Yeah. You want to, the true winner is the one who gets there first. All right, so that
makes a lot of sense.
Sorry about that. You got to have something to entertain yourself when you're checking every single entrance in the game and going, where the heck is my progression at?
I guess, we have a bit, I believe we have a bit of downtime. You want to talk about the history on how they got, how these two met up in this tournament, at least?
I don't have that in front of me, but if you want to, go ahead, yeah.
Okay, so I actually got that information right here. So PTrain won against Frostbite, but lost to Violet Pumpkin, but eventually beats Ecker and Freddy in the loser bracket. Ends up being the, where is that piece of information again? The number 17 seed. GFE being the number 31 seed. Had a bye in the first round, and then beat Plasma Kappa, but lost to Top Life. Then the loser bracket, this is his first match in this loser's bracket.
Yeah, it is a double elimination tournament, so unfortunately one of these guys are going to be sending their friend home today. I have to see exactly which one is doing that. GFE is, I would say, behind just because of that pod big key sitting there on the Desert Torch. I'm just going to keep hammering that. I probably should stop talking about it at this point, but it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, that's a pretty big anchor that GFE that makes up this particular run of GFE here. PTrain, gonna look at that purple chest, which is that her container.
All right, and this is kind of what I expected over on PTrain's side here. We're going to be going into Misery Mire, and if Swamp isn't in one of these 4 locations here, I could kind of think I'm going to be pretty surprised, honestly.
I believe I saw Quake on Mire.
Well, we definitely have Quake. We got that, I want to say, fairly early, so...
And Mire entrance is just a fortune teller.
And GFE, okay, GFE is gonna try this one more time. He kind of got off on the wrong foot there when he went into the Turtle Rock dark room here. It's not a particularly difficult dark room, but like if you mess up the first button press there, you can get yourself lost pretty well. And all right, he's gonna pick up a little bit of magic there. Nice timing to get that there. As we found Aga Tower over on PTrain's side here, but no Swamp yet.
And the Desert Palace entrance happened to be the potion shop.
All right, Laser Bridge. We've gotten the Bombos medallion, and yeah, 20 rupees. All right, let's go out the back, see where this sucker takes us. Ooh, well, that's an interesting thing. So that means that you're going to be required to have at least two Turtle Rock keys to be able to finish the dungeon right now.
GFE or PTrain, sorry, looking for that look at that torch to light the way.
Yeah, this is he did a setup there that makes it kind of hard to hit there. There's a very easy setup for this room actually. If you just walk in from the door, hold down, hold left until you hit the corner there, and then shoot up, you'll always hit a torch.
And the dark maze of Agate Tower has a turtle box small key, and there is a mini Moldorm cave.
Oh, GFE, are you doing the thing? You're doing the thing, aren't you? Right?
He's going to go back for it. He's making his way over to it now.
He's doing the thing. All right, we've got a game now.
Here we go. And nothing but the single arrow and a couple of maps and such.
Yeah, that was a surprisingly terrible mini Moldorm cave here, and so we're going to check the last thing that those the flute and the mitts opened up here, and we're going to find Mystic's hut. That only makes sense. The chicken hut, that only makes sense to me in Top Life.
It's a big key for Skullwoods.
Well, that's going to be one chest there. Alright, so where to now? So, we haven't found Thieves Town, we haven't found Swamp Palace, and we haven't found Eastern Palace. But as far as things have gone, there's not that much left. Now, if I'm the runners, at this point, I'm going to start getting very suspicious about the basically Mimic Cave and Spiral Cave entrances, because I don't think we've seen those yet.
I don't believe we have.
Dark Shopping Mall, thank you. Yeah, Jinxie Girl there, our tracker, that bringing up a pretty good point there. There's a Dark Shopping Mall area. That's 3 entrances that neither runner has been to, and basically have had access to the moment that they got that Moon Pearl, because flippers were very early.
And there's Swamp Palace Vanilla.
Wait, how did we not see this?
I don't know.
Like, these guys walked around it like 3 or 4 times, and it just was sitting right there.
And there's Tempered Sword.
Oh, and GFE doesn't have the small key yet because he hasn't beaten Mothula. So PTrain's going to be able to get in here. This is where PTrain's lead is probably going to get to be fairly substantial at this point.
And Hype Cave happened to be a Gina's cave.
Alright, so let's take stock really fast here. Okay, we find a map to the Tower of Hera, which, who cares at this point. Let me see here. We are going to need a Thieves Town big key. That's the only big key that we're missing. Ice Rod and a bow. And at that point, we'll be able to finish this game, it looks like. Unless I'm missing something.
I think you'd be right. And there's the big key for Ice Palace. Sorry about that.
No, that one's a bad feeling right there. It's GFE is now found Eastern, and so he's going to go ahead and get the 5 items he can get out of this. Yeah, it looks like the pod keys are not going to be an issue here. There was just a pod key hanging right there in the Swamp Big Chest there, and I don't see either runner missing that one. It's right there, so.
Very nicely executed diver down from PTrain over on the left side swamp area. Like the way to left side swamp.
Yep, going with the Cane of Samaria strats there. You can use Cane of Samaria or you can use bombs to pull off that little trick. It's another one of those fairly recently discovered. Looks hard, but once you actually know what to do, not that bad.
Yeah, I like to do bomb strats for because it makes the diver down a lot more. For me, at least, it makes it pretty free. And you did also find another bottle in left side swamp.
Yeah, left side swamp, that's a bottle and looked like just a little bit of money there, so no need to go to left side today, because if you got one bottle, then that's really all you need. Now, I am going to be very interested to see what's in the back here, because Ice Rod, for me, lately there's been a tendency for the Ice Rod to show up in the waterfall chest of swamps there, so I want to see if that trend continues.
And PTrain's going to demonstrate the other diver down, and well, almost got it. There we go. There is a mirror shield and another heart in the flooded chests. And a small key to Gain's tower.
Okay, now if I'm the runners, I start getting very nervous if the next big key I find, or if I'm PTrain, I start getting very nervous if the next big key I find is the Ganon Tower big key. Because then you get all 4 Ganon's Tower keys and the big key. That might start telling you that something is hanging out on Uncle, because Uncle is behind Aga 2 today.
PTrain onto the Argus fighting. Very nice machine gun strats for PTrain. And ends the fight off very strong with that quick kill in the second phase. And to answer a question in the chat, GFE was actually the one to finally get the kill on the Ice Armos, and it was just absolutely nothing.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of garbage sitting there behind Ice Armos today. It's like a desert map and bombs and I want to say like arrows or something. It was not worth the time investment. We'll call it that much.
Agina. Here's the Agina cave for PTrain, which is going to be the map for Tower of Hera. Again, not like we need it anyway.
And GFE experiencing that one moment that all cross-keyer players experience, where you find one of the big 5-item caves, open up every chest in it, and go, well, that was absolutely garbage. Thank you, game. And the best thing he got out of that probably was that the 300 rupees there. Other than that, you know, Ganon's Tower, small key. I mean, thanks, I guess.
PTrain now making his way over to Eastern Palace.
Alright, so at this point, we still haven't found Thieves Town either. So, Dark Shopping Mall is looking pretty interesting as well. There's also the possibility of the, what was I going to say? The Big Bomb having Thieves Town behind it there, but to be honest, there's still a couple of the big caves still missing here. We haven't seen Hype Cave yet today, and we also, I don't think we've seen Blind's Hideout yet, have we?
We have not.
Yeah, I mean, those are two pretty substantial caves there that, you know, neither of our runners have found here. I can understand why they're checking dungeons here, because that's, you know, a smart thing to do. As both runners get a key to Turtle Rock at the same time, and it looks like GFE's just gonna go ahead and climb the whole tower.
This is interesting to me.
Yeah, because the only thing behind the tower right now is a small key. There's not a whole lot of reason. Well, yeah, okay, so he's still missing the Swamp Small. Okay, so I guess he's betting that the small key back here is going to be useful. Just looking through everything, it's probably going to be a Meyer key. Maybe an Ice Palace key.
And
right.
PTrain decides to dip out of Eastern Palace and maybe look into. Hopefully, we'll see the Dark Shopping Mall here, and hops in. Yeah, this looks like to be the Dark Shop. Yep, this is the Dark Shopping Mall play.
Alright, so we're going to get 3 entrances over here.
There's Thieves Town.
Alright, so we got the small key for Thieves Town, but unfortunately we don't have the big key for this yet.
And there's the bug nets out of Thieves Town. GFE is going to start the AGA 1 fight.
This is one time you kind of hope for GFE that AGA doesn't give him too many blue balls here, because we know that he pretty much doesn't need to do this.
There's the Ice Rod.
All right, well that's a big one there for PTrain. So he's gonna, I imagine T-Rock is easily next on his list here.
And directly next to Thieves Town is the C-shaped house, oddly appropriate. And down here is just a shop.
Oh man, AGA is not being kind to GFE there. That's quite a few blue balls already.
And down goes Agate 1 for GFE.
PTrain took a bit of a longer route to get over to this Turtle Rock entrance over here. If he had chosen to, he could have just mirrored from the Dark Shopping Mall area, taken the connector, which would have spit him right next to that area, and would have saved him enough time of fluting and running all the way across the Death Mountain and such there. Probably would have saved him a good, 5 to 10 seconds, but all in all, he's still going to be here and taking down Trinex in just a moment. Although, funnily enough, it is out of logic, though, because he still doesn't have a lamp. Not that it matters, but...
Oh, no, of course not. I was going to say, who cares about logic?
Oh, yeah, I mean, in Cross Keys, logic is, at best, a suggestion. It's something that occasionally can help you, but more times than not, you're going to kind of ignore it. Hey, there's the lamp.
Out of Skull Woods. At least we're sort of back in logic.
PTrain, it was a bit of a risky play there to go ahead and poke his head out the back of Laser Bridge when he was completing it. Now, it makes sense to have done that in a way, just in case, you turned out that like Hype Cave was hiding behind it, but that would have been a very rage-inducing time to get spit out at like the big bomb on the pyramid or something that you get locked out of and you can't get back in at.
So now PTrain is going to make his way over to the Trinex fight.
And GFE is checking the back of Skull Woods, which we haven't seen, and it's just a storyteller, so that's the end of that.
We actually did see that from PTrain earlier on. And this was before the head check that PTrain had made, which was Couch Cash, as GFE is going to demonstrate right here. Down goes Trinex for PTrain.
All right, 50 rupees, and that is that. All right, so we're an hour 50 minutes in here. PTrain could probably is going to start feeling like, I'm really close to the end here. Oh, okay, no, I had that backwards there. That is, so Turtle Rock today had some very, very rude entrances. If you wanted to get into Laser Bridge, you had to go somehow onto the, okay, let me see if I can get AA's approved method of naming that. Southwest Foothills Light World Cave? I think I got that backwards.
I don't know what you're talking about, but...
we're talking about last year's hint system that we had for that the tournament last year, and yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that turns out that small key that was locked behind Naga 1 was just a Skullwood small key.
Right, and yeah, that Skullwood small key. So this is going to get. Now, GFE's gonna have a kind of a nice time here. He's gonna go directly back into and beat Mothula, which will give him his Swamp Small Key. Well, there's our first look at Checkerboard Cave over there, with just had a compass in it. And a couple of fire rod shots, and there's GFE's Swamp Small Key, and more importantly, that would be crystal number 3 for him. So he's still behind PTrain right now, but catching up here. And all right. Over on PTrain's side here, we're gonna get a quick look over at the Mimic Cave entrance here, and kind of interested to see if this is just a garbage gambling game. Never mind. I'm thinking we've got to find a hype cave or a Blind's hideout here pretty soon.
Yeah, it's starting to come down to those checks alone, and there's the Rat's bomb refill room at Kakariko.
Okay, so where's the bow? And where's the Thieves Town big? That's all we're really looking for right now.
That is the $64,000 question right there. Or at least two $64,000 questions.
So there's got to be a bow not somewhere that's not in the GT climb, or at least that's before the GT climb. Now, the Tower, not the Tower of Hair, sorry, the Thieves Town big key. Well, that sucker can be almost anywhere. It looks like we're in the portion of the day where we're just going to kind of check random other caves and hope that it is. And we somehow have not checked this yet on PTrain's side. So he's going to go in and find that it's just a fairy fountain and then continue his way over here. I imagine this is the graveyard ledge check, and probably even the King's Tomb check. I can't remember whether or not we've seen these or not.
That library we haven't seen.
Getting a hammer Vidi fight over on GFE's side there, and that's the kind of the problem here. Is Vidi can sometimes just jump right over you without any problem there. And takes him down, gets his blue pendant, and well, we're going to get a catfish check over on PTrain's side here. As we're still looking for, man, we're only 2 items away, but for some reason, those 2 items want to be as hidden as well as humanly possible. And, well, there's one of them. All right, so there's a bow hanging there on catfish now. So that's going to open up the ability to complete Eastern Palace, but more importantly, that opens up the ability to complete Pod right now. And I believe that's where we're going to be headed on PTrain's side immediately.
Oh, I just tuned in to see the bow. Where'd that show up?
That was on catfish.
Ooh, that's a bad spot to put that. Even if it's not in cross keys, but that spot is just screwed.
Oh, it's not a nice one by any means. It's one of those that you like. A lot of times, it's a guaranteed item location. So, depending on your style of play, a lot of runners will try to make sure that they go ahead and just get to those basically free open locations as quickly as possible, because you know you're 100% guaranteed an item there, where when you're checking entrances, it's kind of a crapshoot.
So PTrain is now going to head to the back of Palace of Darkness to kill Helmasaur.
All right, now GFE is going to follow him up probably about, I don't know, it was about maybe 2-3 minutes later here, and he's going to pick up his bow. I kind of wonder what both of the runners are thinking right now. I don't know if GFE thinks that he is in a good position right now or a bad position, but the kind of question here is okay, he's not going to flute away, so GFE looks like he's going to run down and check the dark shopping mall area. This is going to be really good for him here, because he's gonna end up getting that ice rod that's sitting there in Thieves Town. Having a little trouble with the portal there over on GFE's side, as PTrain is making his way to the back here, and he's going to take out Helmasaur and find out if this is where our Thieves Town big key is.
This will put him in go mode if it does show up here.
This feels like the perfect time for the great cross keys troll of, you see a big key, you get really excited, and then you find out it's the GT big key.
That's rude.
That happens more times than I'd like to even mention. Takes him down here, he gets his 5-6 crystal, and he's going to be rewarded with
10 arrows.
10 arrows. And the search continues.
So that is PTrain 6 crystal, yeah.
All right, so where is he headed to now? Right now, I would be very tempted if I was him to immediately go check the big bomb, because he's at a point where he's got his 5-6 crystals completed. He knows that we've got basically Hype Cave and Blind's Hideout still left open. That would probably be my next guess here. I guess he hadn't completed these yet, so he's gonna do a quick check here and find that there's nothing over here for him. I found Mimic Cave though. Well, true. Jay Coper in chat there bringing up a good point that the big bomb is still out of logic there. You technically do need all 6 pod keys in order to complete pod. Alright, now over on GFE's side, he's going to go and immediately take out Helmasaur himself. After this, wouldn't be surprised to see a pretty quick swamp clear from him as well, and we're gonna on PTrain side, we are gonna get to look at what is locked behind Turtle Rock today. That Bombos medallion is finally gonna get some use for it.
This could turn out to be, if this is Blindside or Hype Cave, this will be quite an interesting case here. If that shows up to be where the Thieves Town Big Key is, and it's Super Bunny Cave.
Oh, you got to go through. Did we already find the back of Super Bunny Cave? I mean, the way that he's acting, we must have already. Okay, so yeah, he hadn't checked that yet, and yeah, so now we're gonna do this here because I'm gonna take a wild guess that this is gonna spit us out on the floating island up here, and we're gonna find out that maybe we've got a small pod key sitting there on the floating island as well.
So for Super Bunny Cave, we have a small key to pod and 20 rupees.
All right, I'm preparing for the big bomb to get put into logic really quick here.
Oh, you're not. You're almost there. Hey, you called it.
Ta-da! All right, GFE is taken down Helmasaur there, so that is crystal number 4 for him as well. He's immediately going back in there, and oh, okay, and P-Train's going to give some time back here because it looks like we are headed to the right side of GT right now. It is time for his rematch with the Ice Armos.
Now, of course, P-Train is 2 crystals ahead, but of course there is that time difference that you had mentioned previously. But with the fact that we have a bow at all, P-Train says, well, we may as well clear out Ice Armos for real this time. So it won't be too bad of a time regain for GFE. I mean, but it will still end up being a small time sink because of what... No, it's still kind of a significant time sink because of what he did for that fight.
Yeah, I mean, both of the runners there took that Ice Armos fight pretty much to the very end before they ended up crapping out there. The hammer hitbox is just notoriously awful. So while we're doing... Oh, I've never seen that strat there by P-Train. I'm going to have to steal that. So both of them are going to run back here and are going to end up sinking a whole little extra chunk of time for something that's just going to be completely useless in the end.
I'm still not sure if we had seen Spiral Cave yet. I mean, I hope we did.
Oh, Spiral Cave was at the very beginning.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. The Spiral Cave entrance.
Oh, yeah, we saw it here not that long ago. It was nothing.
Okay, all right. Needed to double check myself.
Yeah, no worries there. This is one thing where P-Train's got a much, much easier fight there now that he's got the bow there. So those guys went down nice and quick, and he's going to be rewarded with his 300 rupees bombs and map to Desert Palace. Hooray.
Yay.
Now, since GFE hadn't gone to Swamp yet, he has not picked up at the Tempered Sword, so he's going to have to use combination of Fire Rod, Hammer Shots, and what was I saying? And just Master Sword hits here on Trinex. Going to be a little bit slower. Going to get the job done, though, it looks like. And down goes Trinex over on GFE's side. That's going to be crystal number 5. As PTrain is desperately trying to figure out what to do next. I really think that the most likely culprit here is the big bomb.
Yeah, it looks like... And we did see that big bomb a bit earlier on.
Yeah, he's headed there right now. It looks like he's just gonna go right in this cave, and sure enough, there's the big bomb. He'll pick that up, flute to 5, I'm guessing, and go from there. Being extra careful there to make sure that the bomb was still following him before he jumped into that portal there. You don't want to accidentally throw the stone and then just and then just kind of walk in with and walk into it after you had accidentally hit the A button one too many times there, and walk in and just leave the bomb in the light world. That's a bad feeling.
Yeah, and that's why I usually take, generally most runners will just take it slow anyway and want to make sure they don't press too many A presses to prevent that bomb from being set.
Other option is you just walk in carrying the stone in there with you there.
So here it is. There is Blind's hut.
All right, now I wouldn't be surprised to see a big key in here. But which one is going to be the interesting thing?
Thieves Town. There it is.
All right, so at 2 hours and 11 minutes and a little bit of time here, we are, PTrain has hit go mode.
Pretty much all is left for PTrain is to get over to Thieves Town and just complete the seed.
I'm a little surprised. I'm a little surprised that he just decided to not check like the other 3 chests in there just in case you got silvers. It's not a huge difference, but they're right there. You could argue either way, I think, on that one. Alright, you just gotta do a couple of runs over here to get off to the side as GFE pulls off his diver down here. Does kind of look like it's going to be a little bit too late here on GFE's side here, unfortunately, as he picks up a small T to Gannis Tower.
To answer a question in the chat from the Pootermobile, the Thieves Town big key ended up being in Blind's hut, which required the big bomb.
Oh, now PTrain doing something there that's very hard to remember to do, even when you're in go mode. To just go ahead and not get the small key from the hallway there. He already had it. You don't need it if you're in go mode, so you can just run immediately through the door there, not have to even think about it for a little bit. Saves you, I don't know, maybe 2 seconds, but always kind of nice to see a runner have that sort of awareness about them. All right, GFE takes down Argus there over on his side, and it's kind of up to him right now. There is, I mean, it's not looking too good, but if he immediately went to say, all right, now this looks like a desperation play. Yeah, we're gonna go check the Ice Palace big key over here on GFE's side. This is called I feel very behind. Let me just take a wild swing at this and see if I get lucky.
So here comes the maiden pickup from PTrain, and we'll take it over to the golden power and the sunroof, and we'll start the final fight with Blind.
So what GFE is hoping here is he's hoping he's hoping that the Thieves Town big key is locked in the Ice Palace big chest. This is one of those things where, you know, as a runner, you kind of have this sense, and especially with knowing the general times for when these cross keys matches typically end, as PTrain has picked up his 7th crystal. You kind of have a sense of when things are going well or when things are, oh, I feel really bad, I feel really behind. And so if you feel really behind, a lot of times you'll make kind of a low percent play like GFE just did there, in the hopes that maybe you'll get lucky. Because a play like that, where if it turns out that was the Thieves Town big key right there, GFE would pretty much immediately catapult into the lead. Now, over on PTrain's side there, I think he meant to go into the other portal, the Dark World version of that portal. He's going to flute the 2, and then he's going to jump across the river here to get to the Ganon fight. And then he'll be done.
Yeah. Pretty much, this is just a clear, straight path for the Ganon fights, and all that's left really is just to take on a pig and end this seed here.
Alright, so it's going to be a tempered silverless fight here, so not anything that these runners haven't done quite a few times before. Misses the 1-on-1, but gets the perfect setup for phase 2 here.
Yeah, I got the good spin corner for the sweet spot, as I sometimes want to call it. Just spit away and you'll never get hit by those fire bats as we enter phase 3.
Right now, GFE is trying to decide what to do next here. Unfortunately, it looks like he might be heading, not 100% sure. This is either a Swamp Palace play, or he's going to go get the big bomb. This looks like I'm going to go check left side swamp, unfortunately.
And looks like the silver arrows end up being in a basement.
Oh god, they were in blinds. They were right next to it.
Oh no. That would have been nice to pick up, just in case, but it's alright though. We can do triples, no problem.
Yeah. PTrain's not exactly. PTrain's got some decent execution. I mean, he was a top 4 in the main tournament this past year, so like, he knows his way around the game just a bit. As you can see, the triples are just flying off of here. Ganon's going to be down in just about another 2 seconds.
Yep, and that will do it. Get your GGs in the chat for PTrain, and he will be taking the win over GFE, the number 31 seeded. And he will be finishing with an official racetime.gg time of 2 hours, 19 minutes, and 18 seconds. Yeah, I got it right. Number 31 seed.
Hey, GG's there to PTrain for sure. That was a great little match there. We'll see if we can grab him in for a quick chat here in a second. Yeah, it was just a matter of him kind of. At the beginning there, it looked like GFE did kind of have an advantage there. Got that early hammer. Didn't really lead to anything. GFE got the pearl a little bit earlier, but it felt like the mid-game PTrain just kind of took over. And looks like we are now joined in the commentary booth now by PTrain. GG's there, bud.
GG's.
GG.
JJ.
So, first question, I guess I got to ask you, and I'm probably end up asking GFE this once he finishes. Is how do you feel about that Ice Armos fight?
Ice Armos, I felt cheated
Looks like we are now joined
because I had the bottle
in the commentary
and I
booth
was
now by
spamming
PTrain.
the Y button,
GG's there, bud.
and I just didn't get it out in time.
GG's.
GG.
So the reason I'm asking that for you is because GFE, both you and GFE died to Ice Armos. How do you feel about that Ice Armos fight?
Yeah, it was a tough fight, honestly.
Oh yeah, no, it was definitely not an easy fight at all. It was just kind of funny because GFE went in there first, and he took the first death to it, and then you went in there afterwards, took a death to it, and I could see both of you get a little, I don't know, tilted's maybe not the right word, but a little bit of unhappiness, let's call it that. But other than that, there, how'd you find the seed?
The pearl logic kind of got me. Because I found the hammer in Thieves Town, I felt like pretty early relative to when I could have gotten it in logic.
Mm-hmm.
So that was nice, but then I was convinced the pearl was in Ice Palace. And then when it wasn't, and then also I realized, half the Ice Palace is locked behind the hammer. So that didn't make sense. But yeah, I ended up finding it shortly after on Magic Bat, but that was weird. Toward the end of the seed, I was getting frustrated because did we ever find Hype Cave?
No.
Neither of us found Hype Cave.
No.
I have no clue. Oh, I guess it was in GT then.
Yeah, that's the working theory here is that GT is going to be your Hype Cave at this point, because I think you guys did everything else.
Yeah, I was one item from Go Mode, and I started checking out, and I was really feeling frustrated because I had the Ice Armos fight that I died to at the beginning of the game, or the beginning of the seed, and I was looking at my list of locations, and I was like, I haven't found Blind's Hideout, I haven't found Hype Cave, so that has to be out in the world somewhere. So rather than going back to the Ice Armos that I died to, why not just hunt for Hype Cave or Blind's Hideout? And I effectively last location Blind's Hideout. So
I mean,
that felt wonderful.
Oh, I
It was
imagine.
just, like toward the end, it was just I knew that we had the items in GT that I'd go get, the 3 items. But I really wanted to find Blind's Hideout, and it was just a matter of how stubborn I wanted to be with entrances before I sucked it up to go to GT.
Yeah, no, it makes sense there because I mean, like, it was one of those where GFE, just go back in your portal, bud. It's gonna go a long way. Okay, but oh wait, no, yeah, he killed Aga, so he can just walk this way. That's right. You guys were it was one of those things where I could see at the end there because we were going through. By the way, I like your setup on your stream there of having the check boxes with the item locations on there. I think that's a smart way to do that.
Yeah, I need to update the list. I don't have Hookshot Cave on it. I didn't have Super Bunny Cave on it. I was shocked to find Super Bunny Cave. It didn't even occur to me that I hadn't found that yet.
Yeah, it was pretty that was kind of interesting. I was kind of like, wait, what are you doing when you walked into Super Bunny Cave and then left? I was like, wait, what? and then I saw that you hadn't checked the other one, and I was going, oh, okay, that makes sense now. Oh, and GFE's not going to get those silvers either. What a shame.
That was so funny when Ganon was like, "Did you find silvers in the basement?" I was like, "Oh, thanks."
Yeah, it was right next to you there. Oh, well, I guess not. Well, GFE's now in go mode there at about 2 hours 25 minutes, so he'll be done in probably around 5 minutes there. But your next match there looks like you've got some guy named what is that? Wally? Oh no, Walther.
Walther the Fourth.
Yep, I believe this is going to be either the winner of Walther the Fourth or Goomba. I don't know if that has been updated yet.
That happened. It's Walther.
Okay, yeah, it hasn't been updated for me yet.
Yeah. So PTrain's going to get Walther here in the next round here. How you feeling about that matchup?
Interesting. Like, on one hand, I appreciate Walther taking out Goomba because Goomba and Drac terrify me, but at the same time, Walter's not that bad himself. Like, Walter's actually really good, and I've faced him, I feel like, a couple times in tournament play, and I feel like he's got the winning record against me when we race. So that's going to be interesting. Also, I just don't race entrants that much anymore. So I feel like he probably has a better, I don't know, I'm going to call it a grift sense for entrants. Sometimes I just feel like I'm kind of winging it and stuff happens. Whereas I feel like he has an eye for the mode. So yeah, Walther is a excellent competitor. I'm looking forward to it. It should be a really good match. In my mind, he's the favorite, but I'm hoping to keep it interesting.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Definitely, we're gonna be. That's one that we'll have to definitely make sure we get on the schedule here, so we can, so everybody can watch you guys go at it there for sure. I will have to say, as always, there it was kind of fun watching you pull that Kana Samaria there out in Hookshot Cave within the first 2 minutes of the seed there.
Yeah, I knew that GFE was going to get a kick out of that because, number one, boots are in Kakariko. Number two, Hookshot Cave was in Kakariko. And GFE had made a couple of comments. He watches my stream pretty regularly. And he made a comment because I did the pod ledge hover. And he's like, please don't do that whenever we race. And then there was something else. I think in one of the casual rando discords or something, he made a comment about being worried about my ability to hover. So the fact that the seed just within the first, 7 minutes of the seed, I'm already hovering Hookshot Cave. I was like, man, GFE's gonna find this funny. Hookshot wasn't that bad though. I don't remember where it was exactly, but it wasn't too far from. I want to say it was even Sphere 1.
Yeah, it was in, I want to say Sasharala, which was in the front of the Hyrule Castle there. So, he got that pretty quickly and immediately went over to Hookshot Cave because I think he thought in his head, the moment he put those two and two to get there, that, yeah, P-Train got all this already. I better go get it.
Well, that, and I mean, Sanctuaries in Kakariko, it's not a hard walk back, and it's a lot of items, so, yeah. Especially, I felt like the early game to this seed was so slow.
It was a strange early game, yeah.
Maybe it was just because the Pearl came late for me, but I just felt like we were not getting. Like, I had a lot of bunny traversal I could do, but I didn't have a lot of locations I could actually go to.
I think both of you ended up like, I want to say, I think both of you ended up kind of like getting a lot of the really nice items early. Like you had pretty much the entire location map of the world open to you, but you didn't have a pearl.
Yeah.
Like you guys had
hammer
mirror,
and
you had
mitts.
boots. Yeah, you had mitts, you had hammer, you had everything.
2 medallions.
Yeah, but you know, forget the pearl. Like you didn't have the pearl, so both of you guys were kind of, you know, teased there in a way because it's like, yeah, you can finish everything if you can get to it.
Yeah, which is kind of interesting because the spawn points were not super helpful. You had 2 spawn points in Kakariko, and of course Link's house. So getting around was kind of awkward. Finally, I made my way to Meyer, which gave me the shovel, which gave me flute, and that helped a lot. But I don't know. There was just no easy way to get around the world. It felt like especially Death Mountain, it felt like it took forever to get there.
I'm still not 100% sure of the logic to get to Death Mountain. I think the Death Mountain, like, logically was behind the flute. But I'm not
a glove
sure
was pretty readily available, and the shovel was free in Meyer. So I don't remember where I got my first glove, but I don't think it was locked behind a whole lot. So 1 glove in Logic puts Meyer spike room in Logic. So
yeah, the glove was just sitting there behind. I want to say, glove was just in Hyrule Castle, the very front. So yeah. As GFE's onto his Ganon fight here, see if you can get as many triples as you did, and well, missed the first one, so we can tease him about that here in a second. Getting this set
all
up
in all,
there.
it was a fun seed.
Yeah, no, definitely GG's. You know, like GG's to you there, getting that thing done in about 2 hours 20 minutes. I mean, that's a pretty good time for as much as this seed made you kind of run around. All right, getting a few more shots here. Again, it should be down on GFE's side in just a moment here.
Yep,
Getting that
will do it.
trick.
Get your GGs in the chat for GFE. And you will be finishing out this race. And you will be coming second here. We'll get the official racetime.gg time here. And the official racetime.gg time is 2 hours, 31 minutes, and 48 seconds.
And hopefully he'll be willing to jump on in here and have a little chat with us as well. Get to have a little chat with him as well there. I was teasing you guys in the chat room earlier there. Who did since you two were teammates in the league this year here, did Sabo Tender give either of you a nudge for who he thought was going to win?
No, honestly, I don't even know if he's following the tournament.
I
think. Yeah, I know that he's in the PogChamp, but other than that, I know that he was looking forward to taking a break from Rando. So I honestly don't know if he's following the tournament or not.
Well, yeah, I guess we'll never know at this point then. So, all right, should have GFE in here in just a minute. There, I see him in the waiting room. We're just gonna have to bring him on over. And we are now joined by GFE there. GG's there, bud.
Hey,
GG.
GG's. PTrain.
GG.
GG.
How's it going, man?
Bad. That was a mess, guys. I'm sorry you had to see that. That's easily the worst cross key seed I've had since the beginning of the tournament. Not the seed itself, just how I played.
Yeah, It does happen, yeah. It does happen from
We
time to
are joined by
time.
GFE there. GG's there, bud.
Honestly, I just let the tilt get the better of me. Ever since that first Armos death.
How's it going, man?
First Armos death.
Well, I didn't die the second time, but
Oh,
I
let's
think
say
the
I died
tilt
to
got
him
even.
once too.
Oh, you died Armos also?
Yeah, I had hammer, Samaria, and a blue potion, and I got myself down to half a heart, menued to the blue potion, and an Armos was on top of me, so I couldn't get the potion out fast enough.
Okay, I just had the hammer and Samaria bombs, and I got it down to the last one, and somehow he got past my hammer and just pinned me on the wall, and that was that.
I gotta say, yeah, both of those fights there were kind of crazy to watch. Like you guys were, I mean, the weaponry that you guys had to work with was not good, to say the least.
I'm curious. I can't remember. Did I have a red boomerang at that point, or does anyone know?
You
The
did.
first time?
Yeah,
first
first
time, I don't
time.
think you did.
Yeah, the
Okay,
first round you
because I was
didn't
gonna
have
be
it.
I was gonna be salty because if I did, I should have used that on that last one right before I died. Oh, I don't know. I felt so behind early on in this seed, and that made me make dumb plays. Like when I found Aga Tower, I was like, I'm just gonna YOLO that it's either Swamp Small or maybe something stupid like Thieves Town Small leading to progression. So when I picked up that Skullwood Small Key, and wasn't Swamp Small on Moth?
Yep.
Yeah, so I logically got my Swamp Small Key.
I mean, I think you were. I think Zelga in chat was actually calling that. It's like he's going to be really happy when that when the he gets that Skullwood Small there and pushes you to pushes you to Moth and such. That part was kind of funny.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's something you shouldn't do because you never know what's happening to the other guy. Like I couldn't have known PTrain also died to ice almost, but I don't know. Everything felt wrong, and then I went back for Ice Palace Big Chest just as damage control, and then went back to Left Side Swamp, went to kill Armos Knights, and then I was like, may as well do Big Bomb. I mean, I killed Aga, so it'll be fast.
Yeah, toward the end there, I was getting frustrated because I knew that I hadn't found Blindside Out or Hype Cave, so I started grinding entrances. I would say, like, I started doing a Dark World loop. I found Eastern and did all that I could in it. I didn't have a bow yet. Then I did the Dark World shopping mall and routed that in with Catfish, and finally got my bow. So took that to Pod. Like, got absolutely nothing out of it. There was barely anything in Pod. There was barely anything in Swamp. Barely anything in Eastern. Only Ice Rod in the front of Thieves Town. So it just felt like I was doing so much for nothing. And at that point, I still had GT, but I was kind of telling myself that if something's in GT, I've probably lost anyway. So let's just look for Blind's Hideout or Hype Cave. And I checked, I think, every entrance except for the Big Bomb and Pod. In hindsight, I probably should have checked the Big Bomb first, just because I always like to keep the seed moving forward. You know, as long as you're unlocking new stuff before you backtrack, keep following through with the new stuff. But I felt like that might be extra stubborn, and at that point, I might just need to cover GT because I did feel like I got the hammer pretty early. Pearl I felt was late. But Hammer, I felt like I got kind of early, so I was like, maybe that balances it out, and maybe I'm okay. And so yeah, I went to GT as kind of some insurance before I, quote unquote, went off the deep end and convinced myself to last location it.
Yeah. So this is actually the second tournament match in a row where the fact that I don't use a location checklist ended up biting me because I just mentally the way I was tilted and stuff, I didn't remember what I'd seen and what I hadn't. And since I didn't have a checklist, I didn't realize that Blind's Hut and apparently Hype Cave 2 were both still out there. So I would have definitely routed different. I definitely would have routed different. The only other location I didn't check was Turtle Rock, Maine.
Turtle Rock, Maine was Super Bunny.
That was going to be my guess. I knew Super Bunny was still out there.
Yeah, I think Hype Cave has to be GT, because I checked literally every other entrance.
Yeah, that's the only thing left.
Well, I mean, all in all, I mean, yeah, you gave it a good run there, GFE. It was definitely an entertaining match to watch between the two of you for sure. Got to admit, the one thing that was kind of driving us crazy at one point there was when you ran past, you saw the big key on the torch in desert.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So if you watch this back, you're gonna see me kind of going like, for the love of God, GFE, you need to go back to desert a couple of times there.
I was pretty salty when I realized it. I had written down a note, and I don't know, it just left my mind. And then later, like while I was on the mountain after I'd found Pod, I looked at my notes and it said that there was a big key on the desert torch, and I was like, oh great, gotta go back there sometime. It's probably gonna be Pod. And it was. I mean, it didn't matter in the long run, since you still had to get Bo later, but still.
Yeah, I think when I found Pod, I only had like one small key and the big key. So my first trip to Pod, I wasn't able to do a whole lot. I ended up orphaning the Stalfos basement just because I didn't feel like doing a loop-to-loop, but I mimic clipped and then went straight to the back and did all I could.
Since PTrain's mentioning mimic clipping, even though this salt kind of went away pretty quickly, but I was pretty salty when in the first, like, I don't know, 5-6 minutes of the game, I found Boots and Hookshot Cave, and I was playing PTrain, so yeah.
We were talking about that. Yeah, we were talking about that before you hopped on here, because it's like the moment PTrain walked in there, I was saying, oh, and we're probably going to see a hover here, and sure enough, he got some Aria out of it, and we just kind of sat here and we're going, oh boy, I hope Hookshot's not too deep for you.
I was at least happy when Hookshot was pretty early, so yeah. But yeah, that was a little salt. I laughed at it, but. I wanted to throw a bomb at the book too. I have to know, did PTrain hover to the book by any chance?
No, I got the first Paradox entrant. Well, I don't know. I found the backup Paradox. I think it was in the Eastern Theory or something like that. But the first Paradox entrance I found was the one that let me get the book in Logic.
Okay.
I don't think book was needed for anything though. I know Bombo's tablet was trash. I never found Mushroom, so Potion Shop wasn't super useful in Desert.
I never found Shroom either. Hey, did you find Silver's PTrain?
No, I did not.
Probably the next chest.
Yeah, I left immediately after finding the big key.
Same. Well, anyways, let me just, again, GG's to PTrain. I mean, obviously we're good friends, teammates in the league, and I think this is definitely the first time we've ever faced each other one-on-one in the tournament, and I hate that I couldn't make a better match out of it. Honestly, I appreciate your compliments, Days, but I felt like this was a clown show on my end, so, but GG's, I wish him the best. Make a run, PTrain. Show what Sphere Affinity can do.
I'll do my best, man. GG's. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, GG's to both of you, man. And Good luck in whatever you do next GFE, and good luck in the rest of the tournament, PTrain.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Next thing on my list is to farm Gamachu, so that's what I'll spend my time doing now.
All right, take it easy.
Big
I think I
GG
might-
to both
might
of
join
our
you.
runners. And a big thank you to our commentators, Days Cloud and Professor Renderer, for doing a wonderful job. My buddy on tracking the liberal, always a pleasure. Be sure, if you feel like you could commentate or track, don't hesitate to sign up, reach out to anyone. We're more than happy to point you in the direction of the Discord. We have a lot more tournament races coming at you very soon here on CSR, so be sure to tune in for a lot more of our continuing coverage of this exciting tournament. And on behalf of CSR and everyone else, have a good night.